Good evening everybody and welcome back to episode 130 of Enter Crypto, where twice a day I keep you informed and fully up to date on all things crypto. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then subscribe to the channel. I put out a new video every 12 hours. So the story I've got tonight for you is from Cointelegraph's Future of Money. It's written by Ana Paula Pereira. She usually writes good articles. We've covered a few articles that she's written before. And it's titled Panama's Supreme Court to Rule on Cryptocurrency Legislation. The High Court will now decide whether to declare the crypto bill unenforceable or to approve it with modifications. So we'll read through the article. It's only a short one, and then we can comment after, once we've learned and see what it's about. So Panama's crypto bill saga has reached a new chapter, with the country's Supreme Court set to decide the future of the local crypto industry. Panamanian President Laurentino Cortizo on January the 26th sent the crypto legislation passed last year to the High Court for review, claiming the so-called crypto bill violates the Constitution's core principles and is unenforceable. The Supreme Court must now decide whether to declare Bill number 697 unenforceable or to approve it with modifications. According to an official statement, the President's office considers Articles 34 and 36 of the bill unenforceable because they violate the state's separation of powers and establish administrative structures within the government. President Cortizo also argued that the bill had been approved through an inadequate procedure following his partial veto of the legislation in June. At the time, the President argued that the bill needed more work to comply with new regulations recommended by the Financial Action Task Force, aimed at improving fiscal transparency and preventing money laundering. A dispute between Panama's National Assembly and the government has centered on this bill. In April, Panama lawmakers passed a legislative proposal aiming to regulate cryptocurrencies in the country. This includes Bitcoin. President Cortizo, however, warned a few weeks later that he would not sign it unless it included additional AML rules, anti-money laundering rules. The bill was introduced in September 2021, aiming to make the country compatible with the digital economy, blockchain, crypto assets and the internet. It was moved out of the Economic Affairs Committee on April the 21st and approved a few days later. Based on this legislation, Panamanians may freely agree on the use of crypto assets, including without limitation Bitcoin and Ethereum, as an alternative payment for any civil or commercial operation. Furthermore, the bill would regulate the tokenization of precious metals and the issuance of digital value. Digitization of identity using blockchain or distributed ledger technology would also be explored by the government's Innovation Authority. You know, we don't talk about actually enough of the other use cases of blockchain, sort of distributed ledger technology or blockchain technology, whichever one you want to choose, about how its other uses other than currency. People always, when they first get into crypto, or when they first hear about crypto, assume it's just kind of an internet money, basically, and that is a lot of what it is. You know, in the case of Bitcoin, Bitcoin's deaf and dumb like that. It is just a currency. It can't do anything else, and it will probably always be like that because the core devs for Bitcoin Core, they will upgrade the protocol, or they will only do soft forks. They'll never do hard forks. So we're never going to see anything more than it just being a currency. However, there are lots of other what we would call cryptocurrencies, that are not currencies at all, that are actually a whole new protocol, and you may even argue that they're a whole new way of whole new internet protocol. So the internet that we know right now that runs on TCP/IP is really not that good. Actually, it's what we use and it's good enough, but we don't really know any different. We've just kind of got used to this, using websites, and whether you interact with it using sort of Facebook, or whether we're downloading or streaming videos with YouTube, or whatever it is that you do, or whether you use the internet. We've not got a different system. We've just got this same system. We've never had anything else. And what crypto does is things like Cardano, protocols like Cardano, especially Polkadot, Avalanche, Algorand. Ethereum, ones that are not sort of Bitcoin based. These are actually new protocols for how the internet would work. These are virtual machines. And so you can put anything of value on these. So that could be, in this case, what they're talking about is identity. That could be a voting system, so governance can be done. And we can do it trustlessly, just like you would do a transaction with money, with Bitcoin. Or send any amount of cryptocurrency to a peer. You don't need to trust anybody in the middle. There's no bank, and we can do the same with a voting system. So you could vote. You could have a country's voting system on the blockchain, and you wouldn't need anybody to audit it. You would know. So all this nonsense with, say, if you remember in 2020 with Trump and Biden, with some of the postal votes coming in and then being counted late. And if you remember, Trump claimed victory early, and then when all the votes got counted, he'd lost. But all that nonsense, I'm not saying whether he should or shouldn't have won, or whether Biden should or shouldn't. It's not for me to say. But my point being that you could have a really trustless system where you could see all the votes, you could see it, and each person could be allocated one vote or one private key, and they get to spend that vote just like you would spend your money, because one vote has value. In this case, if we were voting for, say, a general election, or for a government, presidential election, shall we say, if you're in the US. So anything that has value, we can put on the blockchain, and so that's currencies, voting rights, property rights, law contracts, business contracts, almost anything that you can imagine that revolves around information, can be put in. Identity, digital identities, your name, you think, and these can be private as well. It doesn't have to be, it's not something that you have to give up, these can be private, that only you hold the keys to. So, it really is, Bitcoin is just scratching the surface. It was the first to come along, but there is a huge amount of value to be had here. And if you understand it, you'll understand the power is, it's like nothing we've had before, basically. This is a whole new ball game, and this is what governments are struggling with, and this is why we've got kind of, not why, but one of the reasons why we've got, say, in Panama, although it being a very small government, we've got them sort of arguing about what is it, what isn't it, can we create a new law, how do we regulate this thing? You've got a lot of questions, and in the end, in 10 years, when if anybody's even regulated it by then, we're going to have such a hodgepodge of governments. We're going to have, Russia saying it's okay, America maybe saying it's not okay, Canada saying, well, you can use it for this, but you can't use it for that. You're going to get to choose where you want to live. You're going to get people saying anybody that's ever had anything to do with crypto cannot enter the country anymore. You're going to get governments where they're going to say we're trying to attract crypto enthusiasts and things like. So you're going to get really all over the place, because this is so disruptive, this technology, that it's. I truly believe that governments still don't quite understand what's going on with it. So it's a pretty basic article about small government, but it just gets you thinking about the other use cases. It's not, cryptocurrency is not just currencies. So really important to sort of hammer that home and look into it more. If you're just scratching the surface with crypto, you're just starting to learn about it, really dive in, really get involved, do some research, do your own research, and learn about it, because it's a fascinating technology and a fascinating use of energy. So that's what I've got for you this evening, guys. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Remember, everybody, to please subscribe to the channel, join my team, and I'll keep you updated on all things crypto every 12 hours. Smash the like button if you feel you got value from this video, and I'll see you all in 12 hours time.